Hello, welcome back to the channel. Third time in a week I'm standing here in front of the car and it is only the beginning of March. So hopefully this progress will continue and my motivation will stay there and we can get the car done ASAP. That is the aim with this year. So I'll keep my fingers crossed if you can keep your fingers crossed for me. So let's get cracking. So as you will have remembered hopefully, I got the back part of the custom boot floor tacked into place last time. It's time to break the welder out again and see if we can get the front piece in. Or am I saying this the wrong way around? Let me show you. When I say the back piece, I'm referring to that bit, which is near the front of the car. When I say the front bit that I want to do this time, this is the bit near the back of the car. You get what I mean. The bit that's actually at the back of the car that I'm referring to as the front bit because it's closer to me. That's what we're doing today. These bits here, as you can see, I actually cut it slightly bigger than it needs to be. I can either cut these down and do a butt weld, or I can leave them like this and do a lap weld. Not entirely sure which one I really prefer, but I've also got to bear in mind as I go to do that, I've also got to deal with this side along here. So I kind of need to make a decision on how I'm cutting it, because the boot floor obviously under here overlaps ever so slightly, and that is going to give me a lip here. So I think what I am going to have to cut it, aren't I? So if I make a mark under here with the pen, like there, then at least I know that that's where the line needs to be, and I can cut everything up to that bit there. And do the same on here, and then I've got to do all my holes in here for the spots, the plug welds. So right, I think I'm going to put you on a time lapse for this. Okay, so we are prepped for weld. I've got my clamps holding these corners in place, and obviously I'll move the clamps down each time, or I'll press up, one or the other. The screws are just making sure it stays in the right place, but underneath each hole is a clean bit of metal. Get under here. The shapes have left absolutely no gap whatsoever, which is lovely. Managed to cut them first time spot on. So we've got, again, maybe a tiny little one there, but hey, I've done worse. I've welded worse. And we are prepped top and bottom, because the last thing I want is to get some ugly weld on here just through contamination. So it is all as clean as it can be. So let's break out the welder. So I am by no means any kind of welding professional, as I'm sure you will all know. The best way I've ever found to do these plug welds is to have everything as tight and as close as it can be, and if you can hold it on both sides, then do. I might just be able to sneak the clamps onto both sides, squish it flat around the area so it is all as close as it can be. Get a little tiny bit sticking out the end of your MIG, like that, and pull the trigger. And fill it up with a nice little puddle of weld. Now, my settings on the welder right now are everything turned up to full. So yeah, you've done one, give it a second to cool down, and then move on to the next. Yeah, because that gives us two in this corner here. So yeah, the other thing to bear in mind is to don't just start at one end and work your way to the other. I'm going to do two in this end because that will keep it all firmly where I want it, like this. Lovely job. Now I'm going to go to the other end. Right, so you get the gist. We're held there, there and there. I'm going to work that every other one along here just to sort of leave a little gap like get this middle one, get that middle one, and just move myself around. But that just at least lets these kind of like not have too much heat in one place at any one time. Okay, back to the time lapse. Okay, so that's my boot lip all in place here. All these black marks is just where the paint that I didn't clean off has started to burn, but also there's a little screw hole here that was just annoying me, so I thought I'd plug that. I don't need it. I've got 4 in the back here, and I'm keeping them for now because I'm still maybe 50-50 on having the valance here or not. I don't know. I'll have to decide that at a later date. But if I've got the screw holes, I've got something to align it by. I can always plug them up when I do the spots underneath for the valance. But now we get onto the fun bit, which is in here. Now, the shape of the panel there has a bit of a up kick to it, and it's not like heat distortion, that's just the shape that it was. So I'm just gonna put a couple of clamps in these corners. I don't want it to bow upwards in the middle, but I put a couple of clamps in the corners to hold the corners in. And I'm just gonna get hold of this edge here and just lift it up as I go to make sure it's straight. And I think I'll get a little tack in each corner just so that it's kind of held where I want it to be. Okay, let's get you back on a stand. For reference, the right hand side of the car, lovely tight gap there, and it welded beautifully. Over here there was obviously a tiniest of gaps, and that's all it takes for weldiness. It's getting late, sort of 6 o'clock in the evening now, and it's getting cold, so I don't want to be out here for too long, but I do want to get this little bit here finished. So I think ideally the car will be upside down and I'll be welding up from the bottom because this goes beyond this seam here. But I'm going to need something to sit on here, and that's where my friend the backing piece comes in. Now you might look at that and go, oh, what is this fabulous thing? Some of you will know this, some of you may not. I have mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it again just in case. A backing piece is a bit of metal that you can't weld in that will act like a bit of a heat sink and a support for the weld that is trying to burn away the ends of these 2 bits of metal here, where there's a slight gap. Even would probably be a good idea to have it on many other welds. But so if you were welding from the top, you could clamp this underneath. It sits right there. It's a heat sink. The weld can't burn and fall through, and you get a much nicer weld along that edge. What is it? I should probably add, this is a bit of 22mm flattened copper pipe. I will give it a clean up because it's been sitting abused in the garage for a while, but it's, yeah, nothing expensive. You can use aluminium as well. I'll try to think what else you can use. Yeah, nothing's jumping into my head right now. But yeah, copper, aluminium, good ones to use. They can't be welded to by the steel, but they will take the heat out. So you can leave this one, clamp it in here, and then weld from underneath, which is the plan. Right, so let's try a little tack under here. It's hard to see what I'm doing, but you can hopefully see something. Gonna need to get a torch or a head torch or something so I can see. But let me show you quickly before I time lapse the rest of this. So I have clamped on here my my backing piece. I haven't gone all the way across. I will remove it for now. You can see any weld that would have possibly burned through has stopped, and it's reasonably nice and flat there. And underneath it looks a little bit like my normal style of pigeon poo, but upwards. But I'm going to clean it back with a wire brush and get a better torch under here so that I can see. And I'm going to do this side. There's a little slice here where I messed up my cut point for this corner panel. And I'm going to do that edge over there, and I think I might, if we've got time left, move on to these corners here, which are a bit more tricky, a bit more sit in the boot and have the backing piece on the top and weld at the bottom. And I've got some rather big gaps to fill here, but you know, we'll work on it. We'll keep going. Backing piece is going to get some heat this evening. Okay, so it doesn't look particularly beautiful from up here, but it will do. It is attached, it is strong enough, it looks good from underneath. You can see the heat's got through, it started to melt in the middle all the way through. And this side is a little bit uglier, but the gap was bigger. So from underneath, aside from this big blob on the end here where there was just a little bit of a gap here that I hadn't realised it was there. Then I had to fill up the gap, but still. The rest of it went really quite smoothly. I'm really quite pleased with that. Again, I know it's ugly, but be honest, you're not going to see it. Anyway, and this is the other side. So it's not as bad down here as it is up there. But jobbed. Let's move on to the tricky bits. That would be these corners here. Starting to wish I'd never started this today now, but still, we have cleared back as much as I can get into bare metal everywhere along here and along here. This is only the back side of the weld, not the front side, so it is as clean as it can be there, and I have done the same here and over there. It's getting late. The moon has come out to see us. I kind of want to get this done before it gets cold and damp, and in case it does decide to sprinkle with rain tonight like it did last night. So I'm just going to get cracking and I'll film as much as I can. Yeah, nearly at the halfway point of getting that side done, and then we can look at the other side. I've had to jiggle the cameras around and stuff because I keep knocking it over, so I will capture as much as I can. That is this half done. So yeah, it looks really ugly at the moment, but I'm sure by the time I've wire wheeled it up and put some paint on it, it'll actually not look too bad. So yeah, the inside is going to look reasonably nice. The outside needs just a little bit of wheeling up. Really pleased with how that backing piece has got together. Let's get on to the other side. Dear God, that was unpleasant. The welder started to get hot, and when it gets hot, doesn't matter what you do, the welds go. It could be the cleanest bit of welding. The only real option when it starts doing that is to turn it off, leave it alone for an hour, because it gets really close to its sort of thermal cutout kind of temperature. So it was clearly getting close to that. I've been welding for quite a long time now, and yeah, I wasn't going to quit until it did, and I beat it. I got done before it did. It's not the prettiest of welding, but I mean, hey, it's going to get flatted off, covered in seam sealer and painted over the top of. No one's going to know it's there. Doesn't even matter. You will. All of you will know it's there. You'll all go, that's got some really crap welding underneath it. And then someone will look underneath and see the lovely smoothed seam sealer, and they'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't watch the videos. If I ever sell the car and you're looking to buy the car, ugly welding is still strong. Anyway, here is what we've got on the inside. So a little bit of flattening down with the old sandy disc, and we will be all good. And as I say, similar over in that corner, I've got to get a little bit of sanding done this evening before I can sand it. I've got to rub it down a little bit before I can go to bed. But yeah, we are done. The gaps are filled. It is welded up. So pleased I've done it. Man, I'm knackered. It was too long a day. I bit off more than I can chew, and then, you know, kind of resigned myself to the fact that I was going to swallow it one way or another. So we're done. Next job, riv nuts, and then I can put the boot floor in and start painting the boot. Wish me luck, hit the buttons, and I'll see you on the next one.